Alright, lock in, because what I am bringing you today is absolute peak, unadulterated Roblox chaos. Welcome back, and right now, we are dropping straight into the Tsunami Arena. Right off the bat, the Interstellar Event is live. You can see the prompt on my screen, watch the skies and shoot down UFOs. And trust me, keeping my eyes locked on the sky is the only way I am going to survive the absolute brainrot frenzy that is about to unfold over the next 9 minutes. The clock is ticking, the event is counting down, and I am wasting zero time. Look at my initial movement here. I'm not just casually walking. I am immediately utilizing the low-gravity mechanics of the arena to gain maximum verticality. I'm strapped with these dual-wielding, high-fire rate blasters, and I am literally painting the sky with lasers. Notice the UI, it is an absolute sensory overload in the best way possible. I've got my multipliers ticking, quadrillions of cash per second flowing in, and my whole squad of bizarre, blocky summons trailing behind me. My pet Gelato Pinguino is putting in serious work, and the spawn machines are constantly spitting out new targets for me to melt. This isn't your basic early game grind. To even step into this interstellar zone and not get instantly vaporized, you need a hardware setup that won't choke when 1,000 neon particle effects trigger at once. Luckily, my rig is eating this rendering up without dropping a single frame, so I can keep my APM flawless. I'm transitioning from the common area straight into uncommon, completely bypassing the low-tier loot. I am laser-focused. Every shot I fire is calculating trajectory, leading the floating UFO targets while I am simultaneously dodging ground-level threats. I have to hold down the trigger while constantly adjusting my camera angle 360 degrees because threats are spawning on every single axis. As I cross the minute-and-a-half mark, the pacing drastically accelerates. I'm pushing out of the rare area and scaling up the massive blue geometric structures right into the epic area. This is where the difficulty curve usually spikes for most players, but I am just jumping from block to block, basically doing extreme parkour while maintaining a 100% firing uptime. Look at my cash multiplier on the left side of the screen. It is absolutely skyrocketing. I am talking about $2.19 quintillion per second. Let that sink in. You do not reach those numbers by playing passively. Suddenly, I hit the legendary area. The color palette shifts to this aggressive deep neon purple and red. The enemies are getting much thicker. Their hitboxes are more erratic, and they take significantly more sustained fire for me to melt them down. Watch my crosshair tracking right here. Even when I am airborne, performing double jumps off the edges of the map, my laser is deadlocked onto the floating saucers, and then I transition into the mythical area. This is where the visual clutter becomes a legitimate gameplay hazard. You have giant meteors, laser beams intersecting everywhere, and random drops scattering across the floor. I drop a heavy item here, managing my inventory on the fly without breaking my stride. It's all pure muscle memory at this point. I am weaving through the purple laser gates, collecting those massive golden stars and question mark boxes. Every single item I pick up is another dopamine hit, another multiplier, another step closer to maxing out this run. My efficiency here is brutal. I'm not stopping to read the stats. I know exactly what I need. It's just pure calculated momentum. Moving into the mid-game, around the 3-minute mark, I enter the cosmic area. The scale of the map just opens up entirely. You can see massive planets in the skybox, and the UFOs are now swarming me in formations. But notice how I absolutely refuse to panic. I maintain the high ground at all costs. In these survival wave games, the floor is literally lava, or in this case, a tsunami of absolute destruction, waiting to wipe my entire progress. By staying elevated on the blocky pyramids, I force the ground-based mobs to pathfind up to me, creating a perfect choke point. Look at the names of these mobs I'm shredding. Biscottino, Chilatrino, Rubicetto, Cubini. It's that exact strain of surreal brainrot naming convention that makes this game so incredibly addictive. My screen is constantly flashing with level ups. Divine and phantom tier notifications are popping off, and my money counter is basically a blur. And then I breach the secret area. The red and green neon structures here are absolutely massive. I'm using the jump pads in the natural terrain to stay airborne for what feels like 10 to 15 seconds at a time. The UFOs are dropping heavy loot now, and I am just vacuuming it up. I am intentionally baiting the aggro of the massive, boss-level entities floating around. Notice that giant green sphere entity? I'm circling it, strafing perfectly, to avoid its massive AoE attacks, while I chip away at its health pool. I am not just mindlessly shooting, I am executing a highly calculated kite and destroy strategy. We are so deep in it now, pushing past the 5-minute mark. I enter the celestial area. The aesthetic shifts again. Everything is intensely bright. The particle effects are practically blinding. The text on the screen says, "Wager an item to play. The stakes are way higher here. You bring your best gear, or you lose it all." I'm riding my massive shadowy mount now, the Mastodontico Jastrastro, which gives me a crazy speed boost and changes my entire movement profile. I am drifting around the corners of the legendary and mythical zones, intentionally dropping unwanted items from my inventory to make room for the high-tier drops. This is high-level inventory management happening in real time while I am under heavy enemy fire. I drop a purple box, then a yellow one, optimizing my loadout without ever taking my finger off the trigger. My strategy shifts here. Instead of just spraying the sky, I am targeting specific, high-value clusters of enemies. I'm using the massive structures as cover from the overarching wave mechanics. Watch how I position myself just behind the lip of a block right when a major attack flashes across the screen. It's predictive movement. I know the spawn patterns. I know the exact timings of the environmental hazards, and I am playing 2 steps ahead of the server. My cash per second is hitting $400 quintillion. The numbers have lost all meaning. I am just riding a wave of pure, exponential growth. As I approach the final minutes, the intensity hits the absolute ceiling. I am back in the secret area, and the server is throwing every single thing it has at me. The sky is completely filled with UFOs. I switch to a red and blue blaster now, cycling my weapons to maximize my total damage output. And then, it happens. At exactly 8:04, the text flashes across my screen. Wave shield blocked the wave. This is the critical mechanic right here. If I hadn't been positioned perfectly, or if I hadn't triggered that shield, my last 9 minutes of flawless grinding would have been wiped out in a single frame. The visual of the massive red wave crashing against my invisible barrier is absolutely insane. It's a split-second save, but I saw it coming. But I'm not done. I immediately go back on the offensive, jumping off the high ground and diving straight into the thickest part of the mob spawns. I am farming the remaining stragglers, picking up the absolute last pieces of high-tier loot. The screen is a chaotic mix of green neon lines, explosions, and floating UI elements. I'm dodging these massive yellow laser beams slicing across the arena. Every jump I make has to be precise. One missed input, one slightly delayed double jump, and I fall right into the hazard zones. We're in the final stretch. The Interstellar Event timer is basically non-existent now. I'm navigating the golden structures, shooting down the last few remaining targets. The text pops up again. Wave shield blocked the geyser. Another massive environmental hazard completely neutralized by my perfect timing and positioning. I am standing on the very edge of the highest peak, looking down at the absolute destruction I've caused across this server. And then the grand finale. At 9:34,